January 17th at 10:15 a.m.
You were supposed to be here about 30 minutes ago. Nobody heard from you.
For some people, nothing and no one comes before that person in the mirror.
It's almost demon-like, what she did.
Narcissists pursue their own desires and will steamroll over anyone who dares to stand in the way.
She's a master manipulator and a pathological liar.
Learn the warning signs of the narcissist.
I could kill a man in 5 seconds.
As a former FBI profiler, I'm often asked, can you spot a killer? Is it a look, an attitude, a pattern of behavior? After 40 years' experience, I can say it's complicated. But there's one thing I know. There is a deadly type. In 2007, in Florida, Dwayne Barrentine falls under the spell of good-looking, smooth-talking, 31-year-old Tasha Fields.
She tells you things that you want to hear, and I think she does that with an agenda in mind, you know. It's just the way she is.
Dwayne and Tasha are both single parents. He has a boy, she has a girl. It's the perfect recipe for a blended family. Tasha is so delighted with the new arrangement, she sends Dwayne constant love notes.
I love you, baby, with all my heart, and I will be yours for as long as I am here. I will raise our babies and love you forever.
It was good. I mean, she was the single mom, and she wanted a family, and she wants to come over and cook and clean, and being a single dad, he was my main priority, and she would make sure that she would kind of dote on him. And I found that very attractive, you know.
Dwayne's first glimpse of the real Tasha also comes in the form of letters. Mail addressed to several different Tashas.
Tasha Fields, Tasha Morton, Tasha Kemp, Tasha Hesse, and I actually asked her, Tasha, how many times have you been married? And she was crying, and she told me she had been married 5 times. Shocked me, because the girl's 31 years old, been married 5 times. I mean, why in the hell couldn't you make it work? You know, you've had 5 opportunities.
That's a good question. And why all the secrecy? That's because narcissists are inveterate liars. They lie not only to others, but to themselves. A false reality cloaks their conscience. Tasha Morton had been lying all her life, but it all catches up with her when one man looks past the attractive, manipulating woman with whom he shares a bed.
And I look back, and it was one lie after another. She told me she had a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
A lie.
She told me that her grandfather was a federal judge and that a battery had blown up and blinded him.
Another lie.
She came up with a bunch of fabricated stories, and she does it very quickly, too. I mean, she could script a Broadway play at the drop of a hat, and you'll believe it.
Dwayne keeps digging. Dwayne digs deeper into Tasha's past. He discovers she has 2 other children by different fathers. She abandoned both of them. Then another ex-boyfriend drops a bombshell.
He said, I know she was involved in the murder of one of her exes. He said, it's probably just another one of her bullshit lies that she's telling. I didn't know whether to believe it or not.
He discovers Tasha's fourth husband, Mitch Kemp, has disappeared. Right in the middle of a custody battle with Tasha for their young daughter.
I looked at her messages and I saw Mitch's family had been trying to reach out to Mitch. They hadn't heard from him in 3 or 4 years.
Dwayne ends their relationship, but he keeps investigating Tasha's past. By 2008, he is convinced she is a murderer. When he shares his suspicions with police, they back him up.
They done some legwork on the situation and called me that afternoon. He said, Dwayne, I want you to keep this quiet. He said, but I do believe we have a homicide on our hands.
The more Dwayne learns, the more he realizes he has dodged a bullet. Tasha ends her custody battle with ex-husband number 3, Mitch Kemp, by setting up his murder. And the man she manipulates into pulling the trigger is husband number 4, Greg Morton.
The only thing Greg was guilty of is loving his wife.
To turn Greg into a killer, she tells him Mitch raped her.
If my wife came home and said she had been raped, I would do the same thing Greg did. I don't know what loving husband wouldn't.
Tasha got her husband to kill her ex. They almost got away with it. But when the police discovered the truth, Tasha is a narcissist to the end. She leads them to the body and then blames her ex-husband. After joining the ranks of Tasha's exes, Greg Morton gladly makes a plea deal to testify against her. He tells the jury what really happened when Tasha lured Mitch to their farm.
They ambushed him. When he got out of the car, he put his hands up. And Greg fired 5 shots into his chest. And Mitch fell to his knees, and he reached up with his hands towards Tasha. And he had blood bubbles coming out of his mouth, and she kicked his hand out of the way and spit in his face and said, "Hurry up, finish him."
In 2010, Tasha Fields is convicted of first-degree murder. She is sentenced to life, no chance of parole. Greg Morton gets 19 years for the lesser charge of second-degree murder.
I think that man's doing 19 years in prison because he loved a master manipulator. And I'm just lucky that I got out.
They may come off as confident, but in fact, narcissists are massively insecure. Jealousy, resentment, and a failure to enjoy the good fortune of others, these are all warning signs. And of course, dishonesty.
Every child wants to be like his father. Strong, aggressive, feared.
This is Danny Pelosi.
You violate me, my father will come out in me.
I met Danny in 2013 in Great Meadow Correctional Facility in New York. He's behind bars for the murder of Wall Street mogul Ted Ammon. Danny says he didn't do it and wants to tell me why. But getting to the truth is like taking a master class in narcissistic behavior. Danny's story starts in 2000 when a rich, glamorous New York socialite, Generosa Ammon, offers him a $300,000 a year job. What did that feel like at the moment? That's like winning the lottery.
Powerball.
Okay.
Powerball. I told everybody. I hit lotto, man.
Generosa is going through a messy divorce with her millionaire husband. Danny's a blue-collar electrician working on the renovation of her 7-story Manhattan mansion. But Generosa sees something she likes.
She tells me, what if I would ask you to kiss me? I tell you I don't want to lose my job. What if I tell you if you don't kiss me, you're going to lose your job?
She actually said that.
Yeah, and I said, you kidding? And she didn't say nothing. And she just looked at me. And I said, that's how it started.
Well, describe Generosa to me.
Well, let's start. There's 2 sides. Generosa was a beautiful woman until her husband was killed.
Let's go back to you first being
You gotta let
Generosa.
me finish that sentence.
Even in lockup, Danny clearly needs to be in control.
If you got on her wrong side, like her friends and Ted and everyone else, you've seen the face of evil you never wanted to see again in your life.
Danny swears he did not kill Generosa's husband, that she organized 3 other men to do it. Do you know who killed Ted Ammon?
Absolutely. I know everything.
Do you want to share that? Does anyone else know what you know?
The people who did the murder know what I know?
Danny says he was protecting his lover. In fact, Generosa died 2 years after Ted's death, which just leaves Danny's side of the story. And to believe a narcissist is a risky proposition. Danny Pelosi claims 3 other men killed Ted Ammon and that the murder was captured on home security cameras. How does he know? According to Danny, he watched the murder on his laptop.
I got the whole thing on the laptop. I seen him get killed. I seen him get killed on the freaking computer that night.
You, in real time, were watching Ted Ammon be murdered on your remote laptop.
I was watching it in real time, but I was watching it 2 hours later.
The truth, according to the prosecution, is that on October 20th, 2001, Danny zapped his victim with a stun gun and then beat him to death. But Danny lives in the alternative reality of a narcissist.
Here's a first. Ted Ammon had his skull broken with a .38 caliber revolver. No stun gun, a .38 caliber pistol, a 9mm pistol was busted over his
That's
head.
2 different guns, a .38
A
revolver, a
25
9mm
caliber,
pistol.
a 25 caliber handgun.
3 handguns.
3 handguns.
When Danny was describing the guns to me, he kept stacking lie upon lie upon lie. I found it to be comical. For the narcissist, if they say something, you will believe it because it came from them. Danny claims he not only watched the murder, but that it was recorded on a hard drive. The prosecutor's contention is that you killed Ted Ammon. So it sure would be convenient to have that black recording box, wouldn't it?
That information lets me walk.
Where's the black box?
It was thrown into a creek by me. At that time, it was to protect her from assault charges and protect the idiots that went out there.
Danny never brought up any of this so-called evidence in 2004 when he was convicted of murder and sentenced to 25 years to life. Thank you for sitting down with me. I think that's because it's simply not true. It's the alternative universe of a classic narcissist. If reality doesn't fit their dream, well, they create their own reality. In the case of Kim Coleman, lack of attention is an insult. Narcissists thrive on the admiration of others. In fact, it's a need. They have to have it. Kim Coleman, the most popular girl in high school, has the world at her feet.
She went to Grambling State. She was very involved in the school, homecoming queen, somebody that a lot of people knew about. She was in a sorority, which is a historically black sorority, and very active in that.
Bright and beautiful Kim catches the eye of Air Force Sergeant 28-year-old Brian Spinks. His close friend, Shane Wright, watches their initial spark bloom into a serious romance.
He was really into her. He told me that he thought about, even bringing her home and having her meet some of his family. So at that time, I pretty much knew that he really liked her.
But Kim is accustomed to being center stage. Brian's love is not enough. She wants his undivided attention.
She would check his phone to see if there were any text messages or anything from anybody else. She was kind of jealous. It was just kind of, hey, yeah, she's crazy, don't worry about her.
But Brian should be worried. After 2 years, Brian tires of Kim's jealousy and cools the relationship. He starts to deliberately avoid her.
If we would see her, he would kind of pull me to the side and tell me, hey, I've seen Kim, I'm gonna leave. He's done that at least half a dozen occasions where he's seen her out and wanted to leave, didn't want a confrontation.
When you're dealing with a narcissist, that's just asking for trouble. On the night of January 16, 2010, Brian and Kim end up at the same bar. This time, Brian's not running away.
And I said, hey, I just saw Kim, she's here. And what do you want to do? Do you want to leave or do you want to stay? And he said, it's okay, I'll deal with it and I want to stay.
But when Kim sees Brian talking to another woman, she sees red.
She was very upset. She was yelling and screaming. There were some people trying to hold her back.
The narcissist is constantly on the defensive, protecting their emotional territory, demanding attention and admiration from those around them.
Brian was upset. He was disappointed, and he told one of our other friends, hey, just take me home, and I'm done with her, just take me home.
Back home, Brian decides he'll end the relationship once and for all by voicemail.
He said something to the effect of, hey, I'm tired of dealing with this, and I was gonna tell you why I'm done with you, but if you don't wanna answer the phone, that's fine.
The next morning, all's quiet at Brian's house.
January 17th at 10:15 a.m.
Hey, Brian, this is my third phone call to you. Anyway, call me back.
He's not answering his phone.
You were supposed to be here about 30 minutes ago. Nobody heard from you.
Friends and family soon realize something is terribly wrong. Kim Coleman wasn't used to being ignored, let alone dumped by voicemail. Kim fell over an emotional cliff, and it turned her into a monster. When Kim gets Brian's message, she snaps and turns up at his door, wanting the ultimate revenge. When one kitchen knife breaks, she grabs another and keeps going. In total, she stabs him more than 60 times. Like a true narcissist, Kim believes she can lie her way out of murder. She calls 911, blaming the attack on a mystery intruder.
3-4 police, what's your emergency?
Somebody's trying to kill my boyfriend.
Somebody trying to kill your boyfriend? Okay, where is he at? Okay, is there someone else there I can talk to?
But her call is premature. Brian is not dead. His cries for help can be heard in the background.
Hearing Brian's voice on 911 is one of the hardest things I've ever had to listen to, because you hear him pleading basically for his life, knowing that the person that did this to him is still right there next to him. In my mind, she felt like she had to kill him because the police were coming, and if Brian was alive when they got there, he would have told them, she did this to me. It's almost demon-like, what she did.
Kim was so grandiose about her ability to charm people, she played the damsel in distress when the police arrived. But the lack of defensive wounds on her sealed her fate. In 2012, Kim Coleman is convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. If you're in a relationship where lies, jealousy, and implausible stories are common, you might think of moving on. You can never be a narcissist's true friend. Friendship is a two-way street. With a narcissist, it's a one-way trip to hell.